honestly,
I've never been to Fulham. Didn't you go there not long ago?
Fulham's such a nice, Putney as well, Hammersmith, all them places. Really, really, you do want to check it out.
Definitely.
They've got nice pubs up there.
Have a look
yeah. So
cool.
Today I am with Ruby Robinson. Yes. Say hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Just tell us briefly about yourself, about your music, your band, and
So I'm a jazz diva, and I run a 5-piece jazz and swing band, which is based in South London. I'm a music business student at ACM, and I've been lucky enough to play venues such as Café de Paris in Leicester Square. We've sold out the Pheasantry, which is coming up in February. And at the moment we're working on getting gigs at the O2.
Wow. So you're a busy lady. busy lady. Okay. And a jazz diva, just for me, because for people who don't understand, maybe myself, what does that mean exactly? Obviously I know jazz, but
so basically I do mostly like jazz and swing music. So the act is revolves around doing jazz standards, anything from the 1930s to the 1960s, arrangements of Frank Sinatra, Quincy Jones, Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, name it. We've probably got something in the repertoire. But jazz diva, the original definition of a jazz diva was basically the 5 greats from the 1940s and 1950s. They were basically the pioneer female women in jazz at the time when it was sort of at the peak of its popularity.
Girl power.
Literally. So I've been really lucky. Like I grew up with those sort of icons, always been under my influence. So I've just grown up being able to listen to this music and taken inspiration from them, really. People like Jessica Rabbit and Betty Boop, Marilyn Monroe. Yes, so I just take massive inspiration from them, and I decided that obviously when I knew I wanted to be a singer, I always was drawn to jazz and swing. So in this act we incorporate jazz and swing from, obviously, as I said, the older eras, but then also incorporating now and present music into that style.
Take on it,
So it's good. Keeps me busy.
I bet. I mean, you've been, so you're a student as well doing
at the moment, yes.
Wow. And that's sort of, is that to do more with like the promotion side, like the management side of things, to give you that expertise, or
sort of? So I've been working, I wouldn't say professionally, because professionally makes it sound like full-time, but I have been working as a singer since I was 16, and part-time, and as time has gone on, I've sort of known where my strengths are and what my interests were, and I've been quite lucky with the bands that I were in and projects I've got involved in, because I was able to pick up different skills, for example musical direction, and obviously being a businesswoman. And then about 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, when I decided I did want to sort of go back to uni, because I studied at BIM for a year and I studied a vocals course, and for me it just didn't work out because I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere with my career. So I took a few years out and I got more experience within the industry. I joined different bands, and it wasn't necessarily jazz and swing, but it introduced me to a whole pool of musicians I'd never been involved with. So then I was doing that, and then I decided that actually, like, I do want to make this as a career full time, but I can't do that by just knowing the creative side, and I need to learn how to manage myself as a product and as business. So I don't want to say like I've mastered my craft, because I don't believe that you can ever fully master something. I feel like you're always learning. Always
There's
learning.
always something to learn.
So when I went to uni, I decided I wanted to study music business. and I was very much involved with ACM before I even started studying with them, because I was going to networking events and I was involved with like tours that they were doing, and Metropolis Studios, they are partnered with Metropolis Studios, so I was able to visit there and meet the producer of Adele, and just little things like that where I was like trying to make a decision. I decided that ACM was the right decision for me, and within the last year and a half, I have worked externally with Ruby Robinson, progressing that project.
For like the last year and a half.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And because we actually like really started like I wouldn't say like branding, but like Ruby Robinson has been fully running since January 2018. So we are now like 2 years old, if you want to kind of look at it like that. Okay. But yeah, so when I was studying music business, it suddenly started to give me all of these skills that, you know, I knew how to do a tax return, but it was more about how to log the receipts and how to manage an artist.
Other artists don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's the whole approach you need to manage, not just the singing and, you know, the performing, but the other side of things that, you know, people need to really, really, if you want to grow and you want to get yourself out there, you need to do the whole thing.
Yeah, it is.
Marketing.
Yeah.
That's why what you have done, really good to, you know, get your gig that you've done.
Yeah.
You know, and to sell it out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really, really good. And there's more to come, hopefully, because as I said, I've seen your music and I'm always dancing. I can't sit still. I'm dancing, I'm out, I'm swinging, and you know, for me, I'll definitely be you know, telling friends, and there are some still tickets.
Yeah. So the one that's coming up in February, there's still tickets available for a second show, because the first one sold out so quickly. So they offered us a second date. So if you'd like to come,
and maybe you can have a pizza there as well. And
yeah, exactly. Enjoy yourself.
Food and music for me, the perfect combination.
Yeah,
food and music. So and for me, I mean, I don't know about other people, but for me personally, I associate the sort of jazz and swinging with like burlesque kind of thing.
Yeah. That's
what I mean. I associate with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, it's all sort of, I wouldn't say it's like part of the same era, but you know, burlesque and cabaret particularly were all very at the height of their time in that time frame, you know. So they were all very popular between the 30s and the 60s, and people were becoming more extravagant with the things they were wearing, and obviously burlesque bars and cabaret clubs were opening. So I'm a student. I'm a jazz diva, but I'm also my own roadie and my own artist manager, and I am my own sound engineer. You know what I mean? So like that.
Even though others in your band that kind of help you out, or was it?
Yeah, but I try and be as efficient for myself as possible. But as glamorous as it all is, like that's only the show. Does that make sense? Like everything behind it, you know, like the days where you do have to sit in your hoodie and leggings for a day because you've got 8 hours worth of admin to do, you know. So it is of course it is very glamorous, but there's sides of it that I think people don't really know exist. But at the moment, because of the way that things are going with the act, I am actually looking for a manager, because things are now getting quite, not that heavy, but like it's starting to be a detriment to the creative side of the project.
Progress. You need someone,
I'd like to have someone who would be able to kind of work with me, and not just someone who wants to like be paid to do the job and just be that person on the side.
If there are any good managers out there, Ruby Robinson is looking for a good manager.
Yes, I am. So someone who like believes in the project as much as I do, you know, and I think when you find people that do align with that vision, then you know I think that's why a lot of people believe in my project and like the music that I do and enjoy following me on my journey, because I think I do have a different outlook on everything, and
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's just
I'm
a bit
buzzing
different.
I'm buzzing for the 23rd. Honestly,
Oh,
I
thank
reckon
you.
yeah, it'll be a good night. I'd love to be in one of your like tour buses or one of your. I reckon, as I said, I've seen the videos of you playing about, and I know you. I know that it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so okay. And finally, if there was something, what was like the kind of trigger that got you into jazz? Like, what kind of brought you like and got you into it?
I don't think there was ever like a trigger. I think I've just been very lucky to come
Okay.
from a family of musicians.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad, when they were not my age, but when they were in their teens, they met through a big band called the Melvin Beddoe Big Band.
Okay.
So
there's that, yeah.
they actually were obviously as we grew up, we were always involved in big band dances of music. So obviously, then the older that I've got, and I've had opportunities to go to places like Ronnie Scott's, and see Claire Till and Garbuck, a big band at the Royal Albert Hall, like all these different things, and you kind of just cater it.
It's in
and
your
educate
blood.
yourself.
It's been,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's really good because, so for me, what got me into say house music would have been one night, you know, going out to a gig festival, getting really, really high or drunk, or whatever, and then that just sort of kicked it off. You know, when you're in the field, you're like, hold on, and,
like you love this.
Yeah, and that's what got me. And obviously, you know, music that you listen to when you're younger, and then you kind of develop that taste.
Yeah.
But also, to have that background of musical family.
Yeah.
That's very good. And
I think I definitely see myself as quite lucky, but I've, you know, even though jazz and swing has always been like my number one passion, it's never hindered me or stopped me from being involved in other genres of music, like, because I'd say death metal is a push for me.
Really?
And I'd say like heavy grime is probably a push for me as
Really?
well.
A bit of
but,
Stormzy,
like, no, I like Stormzy.
You like Stormzy?
No, I like Stormzy. But I just think
I can imagine a bit of Stormzy, some jazz and stuff.
Literally, like, honestly, I'm so open-minded, and like I'll go and listen to any types of music because I think that watching a creative mind blossom on stage is one of the most inspiring things you could do anyway. And no matter who I go and see, what genre they are, or who's in the band, you can always learn something, whether it's something you want to do or you learn not to do. There's always something that you can take from other people's performances and like apply that to yourself. And that's one of the biggest things that I've always done. So
Wow. Well, just before you go, I always want to give a gift to my guests. So you know, you can't leave empty-handed. Okay, so it's, you know, just a special gift. I mean, you'll probably bin it as soon as you leave, but
Oh, well, thank you very much.
This is the medal for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
No problem. So, so as I said, you've got your gig on the 23rd.
Yes, of February.
February. Pizza Express, Chelsea.
Yes.
At the Pheasantry.
It's called the Pheasantry. So everyone gets it wrong.
It's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing, but at the Pheasantry.
Yes. That's
okay, and what else is to come sort of from you?
Well, moving forward, we're obviously working on getting these gigs at the O2, and basically just seeing where the journey takes us. Brilliant. So for me, it's obviously it'd be great to be a millionaire, and I'm not complaining if that happens.
Nothing wrong with a bit of money. Yeah, why not? A bit of change.
But for me, it's just being able to make what I love full time, and I will be attending MEDEM this year, which is an international music business conference in Cannes. I went last year, and I'm going to be doing that again this year.
Okay.
Because there's just so much going on there, and that's like, I think that's one of my main goals for this year as well. I saw you on your Instagram. There was something about a BBC introducing thing that I saw on there as well. Yeah. So I was a panelist at BBC Introducing Live, which was in November last year, and that was great. And I was able to talk about how, being part of the journey of a musician is unfortunately hitting some lows and then going through those highs, and learning how to do things on your own, even though you've you know, you've got support, but you need to learn in yourself how to become stronger, you know. And yeah, when I was asked to be a panelist, I was quite honoured because I was able to share my journey and how to actually look after yourself in the industry whilst trying to do what you love with everybody around you. You know, you've got all these people asking you questions, emails and all this kind of thing, and then it's like, well, I'm not going to be any use to anybody if I'm actually not looking after myself. So yeah, that was quite an amazing opportunity for me to have.